As Kevin and Elle say hello to you, you're watching SportsCenter. Steph and LeBron in the play-in, and that is not a playoff game. We need to make that clear, but we've had some really memorable matchups in the playoffs. Starting with their very first game of the 2015 NBA Finals, LeBron goes for a game-high 44. Not enough. Curry only had 2 3-pointers, but he went for 26, and the Dubs win 108-100. Golden State would, of course, win that series in 6. LBJ would get his revenge a year later with the block. One of his most iconic moments, Game 7 of the Finals. Andre Iguodala trying for the go-ahead layup, and LeBron's like, nah, bruh. Of course, the Cavs hold on to win. They give a title to Cleveland, as the King promised that he would. And the last playoff meeting between these two icons came Game 4, 2018 NBA Finals. Curry goes for 37 in a closeout game. LeBron puts up a respectable 23 points, but his Cavs are outmatched. Golden State wins 108-85 to close out a 4-game sweep. And that would be all she wrote for LeBron in Cleveland. As we say hello to Brian Windhorst, who is joining us now. Windy, what was your takeaway from how LeBron James looked in that pair of back-to-back games that we saw over the weekend?
Yeah, he moved really well, and we saw some explosive plays, some explosive dunks. And I think if you're a Laker fan, you feel like you're getting LeBron coming back off injury, and you like your chances playing at home in a single elimination situation, even though they wouldn't be eliminated, but to get the 7th seed. The one thing I'm a little bit worried about, though, is that he played 27 minutes yesterday and only had 1 rebound. And that's an indication of maybe not fully being back at full strength. Now, with all those dunks and all those plays and racing end to end, he's pushing off his left leg, and he's a left-footed dunker, so that shouldn't affect him. But when he needs the strength in that right leg, that's where you get concerned about a high ankle sprain. And I'm not worried about it in Game 1 of a series. I'm not worried about it in Game 2. I may not even be worried about it in a month and a half if the Lakers are able to stay alive in advance and he gets healthier. Where you're worried about it is if the Lakers are in half-court situations and you need LeBron to be awesome in those, using his strength. Can he push off that right leg when it matters? We're going to find out in the next week.
We're all on Grimace watch. We certainly saw it yesterday in their win over the Pels. He just called it a tweak. But again, a situation that has been nagging him for the entire season. Let's talk about another LA team, the Clippers. They end up being the 4th seed, okay? They don't play Kawhi or Paul George or really anybody. So now they're being accused of tanking because they lost to the Rockets and the Thunder. What message, Wendy, did this send ahead of the playoffs?
Well, you can accuse them of tanking. I'm going to convict them of tanking. But we see teams tank at the end of the season all the time. That's not, the end of the world. A lot of teams have. What they did here is make moves to avoid the Lakers in round 1 and round 2. And, we may be sitting here in 2 months and say, boy, what a genius move. It was good strategy for how it set up the bracket. But boy, does it send a strange message to your team. And it certainly sent a message to the Lakers. As you watched this game against Oklahoma City yesterday, they weren't just resting their guys. That was what Ty Lue said they were doing. They were actively not attempting to win. Some of the plays that they ran near the end of this game were, I was talking to scouts and executives today, they couldn't believe some of the stuff that they were doing in this game. And so if you're the Lakers, and you may not see them at all this postseason, you may not see them for 6 or 7 weeks or whatever it is, you've got to believe that you're inside their heads. Because that's the message that the Clippers sent by so actively losing to both the Rockets and the Thunder over the weekend.
You know what? The Clippers have got to win. Their backs are against the wall. That's why Ty Lue was brought in, right? That's why Doc Rivers is out. By any means necessary. We'll call them genius if it works out in the end. Brian Windhorst with the latest ahead of the play.
Versed, in my opinion, the MVP of our league this year. And Steph.